Welcome back. I have a question for you. Do you know who is the man in the United States who matches in Pope Leo and represents the polar opposite of Christianity? If you want to know him, please continue to watch this video. Don't go away. Keep watching. You will discover who is this man, but also, most importantly, the unquestionable reason why this man matches in Pope Leo. And this is the story. By the way, you can also make some comment. I'd love to read some comment of yours. So I'm going to be sharing a very interesting article I had a chance to read on a prestigious, free, independent magazine paper in the UK, The Guardian. The author of this article is Jonathan Friedland. And the title is, "It's no surprise Trump has met his match in Pope Leo. The United States president represents the polar opposite of Christianity." Name the deadliest of sins: cruelty, deceit, avarice, and Trump will both exhibit them and celebrate them. It's no accident that the figure emerging as the global challenger to the might of Donald Trump is a priest in white known as Pope Leo XIV. In recent weeks, the Pope has issued a string of barely coded denunciations of the United States president, unfazed by the insult that have come his way in return. It's no longer fanciful to imagine that what an Eastern European pontiff, John Paul II, did by confronting the Soviet Union empire in the 1980s, an American-born Pope may do it in 2020s by daring to speak truth to the would-be emperor in the White House. Of course, several heads of a government have stood up to Trump too. The first one was Canada's Mark Carney, Prime Minister, has done it most explicitly, while his European counterparts have taken a stand by refusing to join the president's reckless, wrong-headed war on Iran. But none has the global reach of the leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. There is more to it than numbers, though. Carney has articulated powerfully the geopolitical case against Trump, laying bare his destruction of the post-1945 order, but that does not capture the deeper objection so much of the world has long had to Trump. That antipathy resides less in the realm of policy and more in the sphere of morality, character, and human decency, and that is the Pope's terrain. So naturally, when Leo invades against the world, it is not in the language of strategic waterways and the global oil price. Rather, he speaks, quote, of masters of war, whose hands has so, quote, full of blood that God does not hear their prayers. He talks of world ravages by a handful of tyrants and sends woe to those who drag that which is sacred into darkness and filth. J.D. Vance has tried to defend his spouse, rightly earning worldwide derision. for the brass neck he displayed when he, a Catholic for all of 7 years, told the Pope to be more careful when discussing matters of theology. But just as revealing was his demand that Leo stick to matters of morality, confirming that J.D. Vance does not understand that the revulsion steered by Trump is a moral one. Ever since Abraham Lincoln coined the phrase in his first inaugural address, United States presidents have felt at least some obligation to summon the better angels of our nation. But Trump has always done the opposite, appealing to the American worst demons. They based instinct in the TV debate on 2016. Hillary Clinton said that Trump had paid no federal income tax for years. He didn't deny it, saying instead, "That makes me smart." In other words, be selfish. Get away with what you can. Only a fool would put the collective good ahead of their own individual gain. It's the same cast of mind that led Trump to cancel a visit to the military cemetery in 2018 because he considered the USSR were dead losers and suckers. If they'd have been smart like him, they have dodged the draft as he did. Name the ugliest human quality and Trump will demonstrate it and glory in it. Greed. Trump has used high office to enrich himself and his family, profiting from the presidency to tune at least $1.4 billion, according to a New York Times analysis in January. And that figure will have grown since then. Conflict of interest is a quaint archaism in Trump's Washington, where the president's son-in-law solicits billions of his investment firm from the very Middle Eastern government, whom he negotiates on behalf of the United States, and where unnamed but mysteriously well-informed speculators scoop millions in winnings by betting on presidential decisions on war and peace. What of dishonesty? Trump lies the way other people breathe. The Washington Post calculated that he made 30,573 false, misleading statements in the 4 years of his first term. That's more than 21 a day. The habit has never left him. Witness, to pick one of the examples, almost at random, he claims that a war that has strengthened the hand of Iran's most implacable hardliners has, contrary to all evidence, achieved his goal of regime change. Or consider Trump's cruelty. It takes its most serious form in bloodlust, threatening via social media that a civilization will die tonight, or using Easter Sunday as the moment to tell Iran, "Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you will be living in hell." But the cruelty is also personal and direct. When the beloved actor and director Robert Reiner was killed in horrific circumstances with his wife late last year, Trump posted a string of insults to the dead man, apparently rooted in the fact that Reiner was not a Trump supporter. When the former FBI director and longtime public service Robert Mueller died last month, aged 81, Trump declared, "Good, I'm glad he is dead." It's surely no exaggeration to say that Trump embodies the very worst of us. He brims over with flaws. We used to call them sins, most people trying to tame within themselves. though the self-regard and vanity is beyond egregious. We've somehow grown used to it. This is the man who took a memorial to young President Kennedy down in his prime and slapped his own name on it. Behold, the Trump Kennedy Center. And this is the man who plans to build a gold victory arch, an Arc de Trump, so gargantuous at 250 feet tall that it will loom over Washington, D.C. And this is the man who posted an image of himself as a Jesus-like figure. It's all of a piece. The racism that's meant that of the 4,499 refugees admitted into the United States since October 2025, all but 3 were white South Africans. The misogyny that ensured that, naturally, he was pulsed with Jeff Epstein. The bovine stupidity that led him to launch a war against Iran without thinking even one move ahead, leaving him surprised to discover that he had ended a mighty economic weapon to a vicious theocratic dictatorship. So, of course, he has made an enemy of a leader who stands against needless war, prejudice, vanity, indecency, callousness, mendacity, and avarice. It makes perfect sense that it is the Pope who has emerged as the anti-Trump, because Trump represents the polar opposite of Christianity. He has little regard for the poor, but reveres the rich. When he speaks of faith, he means self-belief, confidence on his own greatness. It's one reason why Pete Hegseth accidentally delivered of the Gospel according to Quentin Tarantino, mistakenly quoting Pulp Fiction rather than Ezekiel, registered so widely. It laid bare that the Christianity of Trump in this circle is like the decor at Mar-a-Lago, gaudy and frail. Two conclusions suggest themselves. First, that the conclave chose well in electing Pope Leo, who took his name from Leo XIII, the Labour Pope who insisted on the right of the poor workers amid the convulsion of the Industrial Revolution. And second, that is essential that the Trump presidency comes to be understood and remembered as a terrible failure, that is endures as a cautionary tale for future generations, a warning that at least sometimes those who are dishonest, cruel, and greedy do not prosper. Otherwise, the better angels of our nature will be dismissed as losers and suckers and discarded forever. I do hope this will not come true. If you appreciated this story, please make some comment. I would appreciate them. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.